your administration says was mistakenly
Which one is
deported. The man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador?
Well, let me ask Pam, would you answer that question?
Sure, President. First and foremost, he was illegally in our country. He had been illegally in our country. And in 2019, two courts, an immigration court and an appellate immigration court, ruled that he was a member of MS-13 and he was illegally in our country. Right now, it was additional paperwork had needed to be done. That's up to El Salvador if they want to return him. That's not up to us. The Supreme Court ruled, President, that if, as El Salvador wants to return him, this is international matters, foreign affairs, if they wanted to return him, we would facilitate it, meaning provide a plane.
So will you return him?
And you are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Wait a minute. Can you just also respond to that question? Because, you know, it's asked by CNN, and they always ask it with a slant, because they're totally slanted because they don't know what's happening. That's why nobody's watching them. But would you answer that question also, please?
Yes, gladly. So, as Pam mentioned, there's an illegal alien from El Salvador. So, with respect to you, he's a citizen of El Salvador. So, it's very arrogant even for American media to suggest that we would even tell El Salvador how to handle their own citizens as a starting point. As two immigration courts found that he was a member of MS-13. When President Trump declared MS-13 to be a foreign terrorist organization, that meant that he was no longer eligible under federal law, which I'm sure you know, you're very familiar with the INA, that he was no longer eligible for any form of immigration relief in the United States. So we had a deportation order that was valid, which meant that under our law, he's not even allowed to be present in the United States and had to be returned because of the foreign terrorist designation. This issue was then, by a district court judge, completely inverted, and a district court judge tried to tell the administration that they had to kidnap a citizen of El Salvador and fly him back here. That issue was raised to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said the district court order was unlawful, and its main components were reversed 9-0 unanimously, stating clearly that neither Secretary of State nor the President could be compelled by anybody to forcibly retrieve a citizen of El Salvador from El Salvador, who again is a member of MS-13, which, as I'm sure you understand, rapes little girls, murders women, murders children, is engaged in the most barbaric activities in the world, and I can promise you, if he was your neighbor, you would...
Hello, hello, hello. It is Monday and it's time for Pop and Politics. I'm KJ. Let me introduce you to my co-hosts. Of course, we have Nicole Bennett, Shelly E, and back with us tonight, as in every Monday night, is Tyrone Keys of Soldiers of Finance, right here on YouTube. All right, before we dive in, folks, you know the rules, you know the gear, whatever, you know, how we usually do it. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, but definitely hit the like button. It helps to get our content out there to more people to see, and that is the goal here on YouTube. Of course, we are here on YouTube and Rumble. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the name Pop and Politics. We love our chat. We shout out all of our super chats. So it's the best way to get your voice heard in the conversation and to show your love for conservative content. Oh, what was that? Oh, okay. This is not just a podcast. This is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom. Stand with us and subscribe so we can amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right, everybody, let's set it off. You saw that exchange, and we have more to bring to you of that exchange, but that happened today. That was President Trump and many members of his cabinet pushing back against, in opposition to most of the mainstream media about this illegal immigration. There, they were specifically talking about or responding to a question from CNN's Kaitlan Collins regarding a deported El Salvadorian man. I believe his name was Kilmar Agrego Garcia. He's actually right here from Maryland, we've been talking about this story for quite some time now. Before I get you guys on the panel to respond, I want to play this next clip. This is the actual president of El Salvador responding to the CNN's question about, is it his responsibility to release him, and will he do it? This is clip 10.
President weigh in on this? Do you plan to return him?
Well, I'm supposedly not suggesting that I'll smuggle a terrorist into the United States, right?
It's
I mean,
always
how can I return him to the United States? Like, I smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, I mean, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
But you could release him inside El Salvador.
Yeah, but I'm not releasing. I mean, we're not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country. I mean, we just turned the murder capital of the world into the safest country of the Western Hemisphere, and you want us to go back into releasing criminals so we can go back to being the murder capital of the world? No, that's not going to happen.
Well, they'd love to have a criminal, released into our
I mean, there's
So
a fascination.
They would love it.
Yeah.
They're sick. These are sick people. Marco, do you have something to say about it?
Yeah, I mean, Stephen outlined it. I don't understand what the confusion is. This individual is a citizen of El Salvador. He was illegally in the United States and was returned to his country. That's where you deport people, back to their country of origin. Except for Venezuela, that wasn't refusing to take people back, or places like that. I can tell you this, Mr. President. No, the foreign policy of the United States is conducted by the President of the United States, not by a court. And no court in the United States has a right to conduct the foreign policy of the United States. It's that simple. End of story.
And that's what the Supreme Court held, by the way, to Marco's point. The Supreme Court said exactly what Marco said, that no court has the authority to compel the foreign policy function of the United States. We won a case 9-0, and people like CNN are portraying it as a loss, as usual, because they want foreign terrorists in the country who kidnap women and children. But President Trump, his policy is foreign terrorists that are here illegally get expelled from the country, which, by the way, is a 90-10 issue.
Hey, let me tell you something. This is all the president's men and women Pam Bondi, and they are on fire. They are not playing with y'all. They are not playing. Shelley, what's your response to that exchange?
Look, President Trump had the whole kit and caboodle. I mean, if they didn't explain it one time, they explained it 5. From the DOJ to the Secretary of State, they had Stephen Miller, the advisor. They even had the damn president of El Salvador explain it to them, even if they wanted it in Spanish. Look, I don't know any other way they can say it. The orders from the district judges were mute, basically. The Supreme Court said, no. You are not the elected president. You are not the foreign advisor. So for this, anyway, if they didn't understand it when they left there, it's because they didn't want to. So this is my ode to the whole kit and caboodle. I might have to eat this whole jar, honey. For President Trump's administration, here we go. The whole administration. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness, girl.
Nicole, please. What's your response?
First of all, that's way too much honey for one person. Let's just put that out there. She got a whole teacup full of honey going. However, I love how Pam Bondi just stepped up to the plate and smacked a home run. It's just like, first of all, he's MS-13. Secondly, he's not from the United States. He's a citizen of El Salvador. And everybody who was in the room was looking at her like, are you serious? Are you kidding us at this point? We deported an illegal alien, an illegal criminal alien who was leading a gang that we've designated as a terrorist organization here, 20, 30 miles outside of the capital? Yeah, we do that every day. So let's ask his president if he wants to give him back. And the president of El Salvador is like, see, we don't have those problems anymore, right? We don't. They went from the murder capital of the world to having less than 140 murders in their country. You know how they did that? It was not the ACLU. It was not grandmas and memas coming over, hugging their kids and giving them another chance. They were locking them up and putting bullets in them. And let me tell you, the ones that ran here. We're giving them back. Thank you, but no thank you. We've had enough. Had it.
Yeah, Tyrone, before I get you on this, I have to acknowledge our super chatters. Folks, thank you so much. Gimpy with the first super chat of the night.
Let's go, Gimpy. Let's go.
Yes. He says, sorry, KJ, he is from El Salvador, not Maryland. That's correct. He was living here in Maryland, but he is from El Salvador. Yes. Lightbearer 32 says, what up, Tyrone? Hi, ladies. I'm here. Yes. Thank you so much for your presence, and all of you. We appreciate you guys rocking with us tonight. We got so much stuff to talk about. But Tyrone, what is your thoughts on this exchange?
It just shows how ridiculous the Democrats are. I mean, the man is from El Salvador. You can really, that's the argument right there. Okay. Someone tried to make an argument that, oh, he was fleeing gang violence. Well, there are plenty of people here that are exposed to gang violence every day. Where are they supposed to seek asylum? Okay. You've got this congressman from Maryland, Chris Van Hollen, who is actually out there going to bat and advocating for this individual as if Chris Van Hollen were the consigliere to MS-13. Okay,
I know that's right, Tyrone.
It's just absolutely bizarre. Meanwhile, there's a taco restaurant in Baltimore City they've been beset with harassment from homegrown criminals. Okay, coming in, stealing, assaulting people. Chris Van Hollen. This is an Uber ride away. All right. So he's not concerned with what's going on. And by the way, that taco shop is owned by legal immigrants to America. So he's not concerned with that. The Democrats, Trump can solve this tonight. All he has to do is get on Truth Social and say, I love oxygen. And the reaction from the left will be predictable. Okay. Plastic bags will be sold out tomorrow morning.
Right. You're right. And, we saw how the administration really broke down what actually happened with this illegal man from El Salvador. But I'm going to break it down one more again. Okay. So again, back in 2011, actually, he got arrested. He snuck in unlawfully in 2011. He got arrested in 2019. That's like 6 years later, in the company of a bunch of senior MS-13 gang leaders. He was identified as a senior member also with gang rank and everything. He went to an immigration court and got an order of deportation in 2019. At that same time in the court, he was designated a member of MS-13 in 2019. He appealed it and was affirmed on appeal. With final deportation in his pocket, he completely ignored the deportation order and then was arrested in 2025. Now, what a lot of people are not talking about is Trump made MS-13, the gang, a terrorist organization. He designated them a terrorist organization. Therefore, when he was deported this time, terrorists are not eligible for a withholding of deportation to a nation of their choice. It's not, he missed that boat. He had a chance to do that if he had went and left the country, but and went along with his deportation paperwork in 2019. He didn't. So now he's got to go back where he came from because it is designated as a terrorist organization.
We keep forgetting he was here illegally, number one, right? And he was a part of a gang doing crimes. He can be deported for anything, well, at least certainly under those circumstances. Right. I don't give a damn what country he comes from. He can be deported under those circumstances. It's these activist judges and these lawfare court judges and attorneys that are playing this game. They are still trying to hem up President Trump. But President Trump is so good. He is so good
Sally.
He is
Well,
so
let's
good.
go. I want to move on to this next
He
clip.
runs
because
circles
even-
around now.
Right. Even like you said, the El Salvadoran president, he really gives it to him in this next clip. Take a look at this. This is clip 9.
And we're very eager to help. We know that you have a crime problem and a terrorism problem that you need help with. And we're a small country, but if we can help, we will do it. And we actually turned the murder capital of the world, that was the journalists call it, right? Murder capital of the world, into the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. And, you know, sometimes they say that we imprison thousands. I like to say that we actually liberated millions. So, you know, like,
That's very good. Who gave him that line? Do you think I can use that?
and in fact, Mr. President, you have 350 million people to liberate. But to liberate 350 million people, you have to imprison some. You know, that's the way it works, right? You cannot just, you know, free the criminals and think crime is going to go down magically. You have to imprison them so you can liberate 350 million Americans that are asking for the end of crime and the end of terrorism. And it can be done. I mean, you're doing it already. And I'm sure that people have seen the change in the streets. A long way to go because you're just initiating your second term. But it's clear that, you know, with the numbers at the border, you know, even in Democrat-run cities, they get a help from the work you're doing. So I'm really happy to be here, honored, and eager to help.
Wow. Isn't that nice? The liberation president, President Trump. This is what we talk about, even if you bring it down to a local level in cities like Baltimore, Philadelphia. These social justice prosecutors and mayors and things, they don't help our communities by being soft on crime to not just illegals, but legal criminals as well. It's the victims, it's the people that live amongst these nut jobs, these criminals that are hurt. And that's basically what he was saying. When you lock up these illegals, these illegal criminals, you liberate United citizens, United Americans. This is what you do. Shelley,
they don't want that. They want America destroyed. They are upset that El Salvadoran president had the audacity to sit in the White House and say all of the things that he said, because he shouldn't do that according to them. They wanted him to protest or say, no, we want to send these people back. We're working out some ways to get these people back. He was straight up and said, no, why would I do that? You all are fascinated. He said that, you know what that's reminding me of? It reminded me of women, particularly women who fall in love with hardened criminals while they're incarcerated. After they've been murdered and been prosecuted for all kinds of crimes, a lot of women, or a number of women, will say that they're in love with these men primarily. That's what he said. You all are fascinated with this. Why?
Right, right. And you know what? The other thing that we're seeing is a realignment with certain countries in Central and South America and away from what are essentially authoritarian fascists in Western Europe. Okay. A woman stood on a street corner in the UK with a sign that read, if you want to talk to me, I'm here. Okay. In proximity to an abortion clinic. They arrested her. All right. They are absolute fascist in Europe, and it's good to see El Salvador saying, hey, look, we have mutual interests that we can cooperate on. Okay. We can help relieve you of this rampant crime problem. And I don't know if anyone's seen the prison facility that they have down there, the maximum security facility. But I tell you what, man, that they are not joking at all. So just going back briefly, I do want to put out a suggestion for Chris Van Hollen, and I'm very serious about this. So if anyone who knows him sees this, pass it on. Why don't you, while this is being adjudicated, Chris Van Hollen, why don't you invite Garcia up to your home with your wife, and you take responsibility for him until everything is ultimately decided. How about, although I think maybe we are ultimately decided because the Supreme Court has spoken, but put your money where your mouth is, Chris Van Hollen. Okay, take this murderous gang member into your home. Mm-hmm. And if he did that, believe me, he'd be MAGA by noon tomorrow.
Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I want to acknowledge our super chatters here. Shemaine with the $5 super chat. She says, my solution would be to bring him back into the country and mandate that he lives with Kaitlan Collins. Yes, CNN's Kaitlan Collins. That's a good one, Shemaine.
He might leave. It'd be too much for him. It's like, you know what?
Right. He would.
No, I'm not putting up with this. But did you guys hear the humble brag that he said? He's sitting in the Oval Office right across from the most powerful man in the world. And he says, my nation is the safest nation in the Western hemisphere. The look on Trump's face was like, oh, we're going to have to clean ourselves up. We can't let them outdo us. Are you serious? Let's get them all out of this country. Ezra Tree brought up in the chat justice for Rachel Moran and her family today, as Victor Hernandez was convicted of her murder. You know, they say that this was not his first, that he committed a very serious crime in El Salvador and some other crimes. And you know what? Our American jails are too good for them, are way too good for them. He should be deported to his home nation and let them deal with him for the murder that he committed there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Nicole. Also want to shout out our sister station here, All American Talk Show. I saw them in the chat, I think briefly, the All American Talk. Yeah, All American Talk Show. That's our sister station here, folks. You guys got to go on there and check out. They broadcast live tomorrow. Shelly was on there last Tuesday. You can see, says, thank you for co-hosting our show last week, Shelly E. Yes.
Oh, thank you. It was fun.
Yes, it was. And so they'll be back on tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Check them out. Conservative talk. You know, same as is here, but it's just with a different not perspective, but different angle, I'll say. So certainly check them out and subscribe, folks. All right. So, you know, there's a new sheriff in town. Trump is not playing with these illegals. And we have another case here, Mahmoud Khalil. We have another super chatter also, speaking of another. Let's see here. Cookie, yes, Cooler King with the $5 super chat says Duterte in the Philippines cleaned up his country. I was there before and after. Big difference. Now the EU has him in jail. I have family there. Wow. I am sorry to hear that. And I hope your family is safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Red Bucks with the $10 super chat. All right now. Poppin' Politics rules. Keep going, keep growing. Well, it's you guys that help us grow. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. And folks, again, we appreciate the support. Please continue to hit that like button. It helps to amplify our voice here on YouTube. It keeps us on YouTube. So thank you. All right. And also we have another one here. Let me see. A Havoc Master with the $5 super chat says CNN is toast. CNN, NPR, PBS, all of them. You all hear you heard what's going on now, right?
Right.
President Trump just revoked. He's trying to get a bill passed, I believe, in Congress to strip NPR and PBS of $1.1 billion with a B dollars in federal funding.
Good.
All right.
Those Kelly's list. No public funds. Let's go.
Right. That's what I thought about too when I saw that. Kung Fu CJ is back. Hello. Says that MS-13 member is where he is supposed to be. Yes,
absolutely.
Indeed. Yes, indeed. All right. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you. You all keep us here on YouTube. Your super chats. You really don't understand. It goes a long way in helping us put out conservative content. So thank you all so much. We really appreciate you. We really do. All right. So moving right along, still keeping along the lines of these criminal cases, is Mahmoud Khalil. So you guys remember Mahmoud Khalil. He is the Columbia University grad student that Trump deported also. And according to a recent post in the New York Post, I should say, there was a recent ruling by an immigration judge on Friday that upheld his deportation. So Khalil can be deported on the grounds of being a national security risk after participating in pro-Palestinian demonstrations. It was the immigration judge James E. Comans said that the government's contention that Khalil's presence in the United States posed potentially serious foreign policy consequences was enough to satisfy requirements for his deportation. Take a look at this. This is clip 1.
I'm okay with that. All right, what if I was a young student at Columbia, they're on a green card, British, come in, happy to be here, do all my paperwork, get to Columbia, and I start leading a group which is a bunch of white supremacists, and we start terrorizing black students in the way that they were terrorizing Jewish students. Well, hang on. In that circumstance, would we all be as comfortable with this, or is it the reality which was exposed by the mobs at Columbia, which is that for some reason Jews get treated differently to anybody else when it comes to this kind of thing? Because if that had been, honestly, white supremacists treating black students like that, they would be out the country in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes.
That is completely true.
What about if he had said all this at his green card interview? Would he have got a green card? No. No. If he said, I support a prescribed terror group in the United States, you're not coming in on a green card. All Marco Rubio is doing, it seems to me, is taking it back to that scenario and saying, well, if you'd been honest then, and by the way, he was dishonest on his green card application about other stuff, which is another part of the equation, which might in itself disqualify him from staying in the country. But the idea that he would have said, I support Hamas, I support a global intifada, I support the destruction of Western civilization, now give me a green card to come and live in America, fuck off.
All right, I have to end it there.
All right, you heard him. Nicole, what's your response?
I
you
agree
see
with
how
you.
he tried to compare what they're doing to Jewish students at these universities, and he flipped it and said, wonder what they would have done if it was a British guy coming over here doing this to black students. What are your thoughts on that analogy he made with the comparison?
Listen, the comparison, I don't see it as a racial thing. I see it as him saying one particular minority group that has historically been challenged, having someone come in and do that. But what I found really fascinating with him is what he said about Mahmoud's, all of the things he's done before. So it's not like he was standing on a street corner and ICE rolled up and snatched him or abducted him. This is someone who has been a rebel rouser from the beginning. He lied and lied and lied again, and he's here supporting terror in a nation that has already been terrorized. I mean, in New York, when you think about 9/11 and all the lives lost, he would have been cheering for the people who killed those Americans, happily cheering for the people who killed those Americans. He does not belong here. He does not belong here. And people say, well, what about his American wife? And she's just about to give birth and that kind of thing. You know, she can go back with him. Love works two ways, right? They had a show on a TLC called 90 Day Fiance. She can be 90 days over there with him. It doesn't have to be here in the United States. At some point, we have to draw a line in the sand. And I think right in front of him is a great place to draw that line.
Yeah. Tyrone, what are your thoughts on this case? I know we've spoken about this before. Do you agree that the courts made the right decision?
Absolutely. Look, when you legally immigrate to Mexico, for example, you never are allowed to protest their government, even when you legally immigrate to that country. Okay. So I don't know. I'm happy if someone enlightens me, but I don't know any other country that's got a plethora of folk from all over the world coming there and protesting their government. I tried in Russia. I mean, see, I don't think it'll work out too well for you. I think going through the court system is a very civilized way to do things, and I don't think a lot of other countries would handle it that way, quite frankly. The term disappeared exists for a reason. So go back to your country or wherever it is you are from. Stop coming over here trying to foment all kinds of dissent and tear our nation down. There's a reason why where you're from is struggling, okay? Because instead of you going back there and trying to build up where you're from, you're over here agitating. So, yeah, look, I have no sympathy for him whatsoever. And if you want to know whether it's right or not, put yourself in that position in a different country. Go to China and protest the policies of the CCP.
Yeah, Shelley, I'm interested to hear what you're saying. You are, our libertarian with the small L and a huge free speech activist, not activist, but advocate. This is being pitted by the left, by the ACLU as a free speech issue. What are your thoughts here? I know we've spoken about this in the past.
Okay, definitely. Number one, I'm a free speech advocate, of course, but if I go to other countries, I don't have that same right in their country. So gosh darn it, when they come here, they don't have that right. Number one, he's not a U.S. citizen. He does not have the Constitution at his disposal, if you will. What Pierce was doing, which I love, he was playing that leftist identity hierarchy hand right in their faces, and he had a full house. He showed them how their own hierarchy, they would have different standards based on with skin color, minority status, identity status. He played it well. Not only that, what's his name? Khalil, Mahmoud, whatever. He can say what he wants. That doesn't mean that he gets to advocate for the destruction, the death of anybody, let alone people on college campuses, and that he is coming over here on a pass, if you will. Hell no. I say free speech for Americans. Now, as a human being, I think we all have a God-given right of free speech. But even with my free speech in America, I couldn't go to some countries over in Europe, no less, farther east than that, and say what I wanted to say. If I was in Afghanistan, I would have been bound up real quick already. I would have had the whole the habaya on, all that stuff, mouth sealed and every damn thing.
Yeah. And speaking of free speech, folks, we have the free speech king of YouTube in the chat. Folks, we gotta acknowledge him.
Yeah,
we got to.
Go, CT, let's go.
Chaotic Truth Live has super chatted us tonight, folks, with a $1.50 super chat. Thank you so much. Chaotic Truth Live is the free speech king. If anybody is using his God-given constitutional right for free speech, it is that man, because he goes off on his YouTube channel, folks. You got to check it out, Chaotic Truth Live, and he is talking, and we're talking about free speech, and it's just we have to mention him because he's a free speech advocate there as well. So yes, and so you guys, I don't know if you know, we have another channel, our brother channel here on Metro Conservative Media's platform on YouTube is Just the Guys podcast. And Just the Guys podcast is Tyrone, it's Chaotic Truth Live, it's Giovanni Patterson, Gimpy is on, Gimpy and Reason. They are on the Just the Guys podcast. You can find them at that YouTube channel at Just the Guys podcast every Saturday evening at 6:30 p.m. Woo! When you talk about free speech, they really take advantage of that. So
wait a minute, KJ, before you go on, we got to say something. We didn't mention it. What? We got to let our audience know tonight, Monday, mark it down, the 14th of April. This is our 700th show for Poppin' Politics. So, yes, so this is our 700th show. We need you all to like, share, subscribe, go to our website, send us an email just congratulating us. Put it in the chat if you're listening. I mean, of course, you're listening in the chat. We are 700 shows, I don't know, ahead,
strong.
If you will. Yeah,
700 strong. For sure.
So woohoo! Congratulations, everybody.
Yeah, and if you have it in your heart to super chat us $700, Shelley will down the whole bottle of honey for you in one swallow. So if you're into seeing something like that,
that's because KJ wants me to get rid of it, but I got more. I got plenty.
That's why Chaotic was dropping dollars into the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, but thank you guys. Thank you so much. Kung Fu CJ with the $5 super chat says, I was on CT show. They are on there for hours, right? Yeah, they are. They are. But folks, thank you guys so much. We're creating a family here. I see you, Allie. Thank you. Yes, we are family here with community, with shared values, like-minded people. And so this is what we're all about here. As I always say in the beginning of every show, God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people on this channel. We appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Hit that like button. We got a lot more to talk about tonight, but hit that like button and subscribe if you have not done so already. Yes. Also, we have our merch here. So if you're one to like to wear your message, we have some really cool merchandise here: shirts, shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, mugs, all of it. You can get right there at www.popandpoliticslive.com/shop, or you can just click on shop. Yes, indeed. So, and one last thing about that Khalil case, Mahmoud Khalil case, they got his friend too, folks. Did you guys see that? So today, actually, I believe a Columbia University student who co-founded with Mahmoud the Organization for Palestinian Student Union was arrested today by the Department of Homeland Security. So you know it ain't fun unless your homies get one. Mohsen Maldwai, a permanent resident of the U.S., was arrested and detained after attending his naturalization interview in Vermont. Trump is not playing, you guys.
He's not. He's cleaning the closet, girl. He's cleaning the closet. He's not playing with these folks, and it's about time. It is about time. If you're a criminal illegal, self-deport. Save yourself the trouble, the embarrassment. Just pack your bag and just go on about your life. Just get on out of here.
Yeah. All right. So moving right along. Again, we are talking about these cases here tonight, or at least some of them. And this one is very disturbing. So a neo-Nazi teen was arrested for unaliving his parents in a plot to unalive President Trump and save, as I quote, the white race. Take a look at this. This is clip 13.
I haven't found it yet.
Judith Mayer's 17-year-old grandson appeared in court for the first time since he was charged in connection to the deaths of his mother and stepfather.
This is in the District Court of Trigo County, Kansas. It's in the matter of Nikita Kasap.
The teenager was not in school for 2 weeks at Waukesha West High School before a school resource officer and his grandmother requested a welfare check at the family home. It's there police found his mother, Tatiana Kasap, and his stepdad, Donald Mayer, dead with dried blood surrounding the scene.
I loved him so much, and his wife, she was lovely.
According to court documents, the teenager left the scene with a gun and their dog in the family vehicle. Police pinged Kasap's phone in Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, Wyoming, and Colorado. On Saturday, police in Waukene, Kansas, pulled him over at a traffic stop where Kasap was arrested and evidence was found. As Kasap appeared for an extradition hearing.
Yes, that's correct.
He has 2 felony counts of operating a motor vehicle without the owner's consent and theft of movable property.
It's the best interest of justice that Mr. Kasap remains in the detention center in Garden City, Kansas.
The magistrate judge gave the state of Wisconsin until March 15th to get him back to Waukesha. While the teenager is not charged for their deaths, this grandmother is struggling with the possibility of what may have happened.
It's very difficult to accept that Nicky killed his mother and father. It's just, it doesn't make any sense.
My God, folks, 17 years old, folks. I mean, this is maddening. This is very disturbing. Shelley, well, before we get into this, I do want to acknowledge our super chatters here. Folks, thank you all so much All right, Debbie with the $10 super chat. Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you.
Yes, Kung Fu CJ with the $5 super chat says send them back so they can protest in their own country. Exactly. So wow. So let's get on this clip. So you guys know we've been covering the Texas stabbings. He was a 17-year-old, both 17-year-olds. Here's another 17-year-old. Shelly, what's going on?
I want to know what the hell is going on in Waukesha.
Right. Remember with Waukesha with the parade, right?
Mm-hmm. Not such a big town or a big city, but what the hell is going on up there? Look, I don't know what the details are about this tragedy here, but what I do, I'm going to say surmise, if you will, what I do suspect, just living my life up until this time, teenagers today or young people today have been so inundated with so much, I'm just going to call it bad culture, bad direction, bad guidance, whatever is coming into their minds. Now, granted, have there always been, bad, evil teenagers? Of course. I think with the proliferation of social media and young people being exposed to it earlier and earlier, they come out the womb and they got cell phones in their hands, right? I just think, I don't know specifically about this case, but young people today, I think they just, parents are allowing them to be exposed to too much too soon, if at all. Granted, I'm going to say, his mom and her husband, the dad, my heart goes out to them, to their grandmother. I don't have any more details, but teenagers today, too many of them are left almost like feral children without enough guidance and discipline.
Yeah, Kung Fu CJ with the $2 super chat here says, ladies, think MK Ultra. Tyrone, what do you think? Do you think MK Ultra has something to do with this?
Listen, you have got at this point a lot. Think about the Tesla protesters, okay? These are grown people. Many of these people are baby boomers, gray hair, and they are operating as if under the spell of some mass psychosis, okay, some mass joint psychosis that is getting otherwise, folk that you would look at them and you would think, oh, they would never do anything like that. Engaging in not only childish behavior, but behavior that endangers 60 years of reputation in some cases that they've built. Okay. So I totally agree with Kung Fu CJ. And people, if you don't know what MK Ultra is, I would encourage you to do your research on it, learn about it. Also, go in, do some research about the church committee hearings. And I think you will be very surprised at the level of influence that has been acting upon the American psyche for many, many decades.
Yes.
So when you take young people who have not fully developed their, cerebral cortex, they are very susceptible to all kinds of messaging. Take the young man that recently stabbed the other guy. I think they were in Texas. Now, this young man, probably under the influence of a genre of music that encourages violence, murder. I'm talking about rap music, okay? And I'm old enough to remember a world before NWA, when rap was about having fun and about positive, conscious messaging. After 1989, that all changed. Misogyny, excess, material excess, violence, drug dealing, okay?
And abuse now.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And promiscuity. So I think one would be really ill-advised to think that these things do not act on the collective psyche.
Yeah. And another thing, well, before we do, I want to acknowledge our super chatters here. So we have here Chadwick with the $5 super chat.
Thank you.
says, we are in a day in which the parents are fighting social media to raise the children. It's terrible. Also, in school, teachers are now activists. Absolutely. Totally agree there. And another thing, though, folks, we kind of left out is the media. Nicole, what do you think, if any, role the media plays in the violence that we're seeing amongst teens?
It's a huge role. I mean, these children are getting a steady diet. No matter which way they turn, their parents are dumb, their grandparents are dumb. You've got 60-year-olds out here keying people's cars like it's going to strike a blow against a man who doesn't own the car, right? If the car's already sold, he's already made his money. What are you doing with your life? Like Tyrone said, 60 years of your life, you've been an upstanding citizen, and now you want to throw it all away over something that you're not even impacting directly. Then you have the media. Granted, they learn in short little snippets thanks to social media, but if you've spent any time on TikTok, if you spend any time on IG, you see the debauchery that's out there. And these kids are getting a steady diet. Then they go to school for 8 to 10 hours a day. And while they're in school, their teachers are telling them that this is the way that America is now. This is the way that the world is. So they are definitely surrounded by thoughts that we couldn't even conceive when we were their age. Not one place for them to have peace. Not one place. Heck, it's even in some churches. Some of this stuff that's coming out of preachers' mouth in the pulpit is same things you see on MSNBC, the same thing you see on CNN. Where do children find peace? Where do they get to have one moment of clear thought? They don't. They're being surrounded. And the ones who play video games got it even worse because it makes you believe that you're living that fantasy. This young man and this grandmother, God bless her heart, she done lost her whole family. Jessica said it in the chat too. She lost her whole family in one fell swoop. And they said that he had a lot of help, that he had people, adult people helping him pull off this murder and this escape to try to get this race war or whatever kind of war he was trying to get going. It is just, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart what's happening to our youth.
Yeah, you're right. He wrote a manifesto of some kind talking about the unaliving of President Trump. He was in touch with other parties about his plan to kill, or I shouldn't say, but unalive President Trump and overthrow the government of the U.S., according to the New York Post. It says here his parents, the unaliving of his parents appeared to be an effort to obtain the financial means and autonomy necessary to carry out his plan. In court, prosecutors alleged Kasap was in touch with a person who speaks Russian and shared a plan to flee to Ukraine. Authorities found him in Kansas, as we saw, with money, passports, a car, and the family's dog. Now, I want to get back to what you said about the media. Speaking of the media, we all know about that Luigi Mangione case right here in Maryland, another case out of Maryland, where the Maryland guy, he's a college graduate, went to private school here in Maryland, unalived the healthcare CEO. Well, Taylor Lorenz, the self-proclaimed voice of Gen Z journalism, has reached a new moral low. She's now defending this guy. This, again, is the man charged with premeditated unaliving of a healthcare CEO. She's calling him morally good. Take a look at this. This is clip 2.
We should note, again, and you and I have said this in the air many times, there is no evidence that Joe Biden was, involved in any wrongdoing.
Of course, want to note that there is no evidence that Joe Biden or Hunter Biden has done anything wrong. I just want to reiterate.
And let's be clear for the viewers.
There is no evidence Biden did anything wrong.
Governor, you got a second?
Literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
This is why independent media is so important. Thanks to people like you, patriots who love America and stand for truth, we're making a difference. Together, we've turned them off, called them out for their lies and propaganda, and held them accountable for their disdain for God-fearing, freedom-loving Americans like us. But we can't stop here. It's time to take action with our dollars. Let's make 2025 the year we double down on our commitment to values-driven choices. Vote with your dollars. Support Made in America. Back companies that honor our families, faith, and country. We found an exciting way to make this switch, and we want you to join us. Check out www.popandswitch.com and click Yes, I want to make the switch. It's that easy. It's time to walk away from corporations like BlackRock and Vanguard that undermine our principles. Let's invest in America. Let's support businesses that share our love for this country. You don't have to take on everything at once, but you can start here. Join us in making this one small yet powerful step. Visit www.popandswitch.com. Click the link and schedule a call with our team to learn how you can make the switch. Together, we can create real change.
What's up, guys? This is Juvenile, co-founder of Metro Conservative Media. We are the definitive home for the urban conservative. You think you got what it takes? Go to metroconservativemedia.com and click Join the Movement now.
Hilarious to see these millionaire media pundits on TV clutching their pearls about someone standing a murderer when this is the United States of America, as if we don't lionize criminals, as if we don't have, we don't stand murderers of all sorts, and we give them Netflix shows. There's a huge disconnect between the narratives and angles that sort of mainstream media pushes and what the American public feels. And you see that in moments like this. And I can tell you, I saw the biggest audience growth that I've ever seen, because people were like, oh, some journalist is actually speaking to the anger that we feel.
The women who gather outside court in New York.
So you're going to see women especially that feel like, oh my God, right? Like, here's this man who's revolutionary, who's famous, who's handsome, who's young, who's smart. He's a person that seems this morally good man, which is hard to find.
Yeah, I just realized women will literally date an assassin before they swipe right on me. That's where we are. I'm sure you wouldn't like to be compared to a Trump supporter, but some of how people cannot understand why people have sympathies for Mangione strikes me as the same as a lot of media not understanding why people support Trump.
I totally agree.
It's because a lot of people are just really, really desperate.
They want somebody to take on the system. They want somebody to tear down these barbaric establishment institutions.
Wow. That was crazy. I wish she could be deported. All right, Shelly, what did you think of? I couldn't believe it.
It's to say it's low, it's probably not making it a strong enough reaction. But what she basically is doing or has done is, first of all, she's equating President Trump with a murderer or that he needed to be murdered. That's what she's doing in a roundabout way. These so-called journalists are looking for anything and anybody to give them a story to make them the headline. She basically said, what's his name? Mangione, whatever, the piece of shit, basically, that I don't even know what words to say on here. That, what is it? I don't even know how to say it. Murdered the guy. He's justified because it represents the system. No, this is Taylor Lorenz's twisted, diabolical thinking that she is somehow living through the people that she's interviewing, these murderers, these pieces of shit. She is disgusting. In a way, I think she really wants President Trump to be murdered or unalive, whatever the word is on YouTube.
Yeah, put her in jail. If she wants to be these people, she wants to really live like these criminals. Put this woman in jail. Take her to El Salvador. She makes me sick. I do want to acknowledge our super chatters here, folks. Thank you so much. Wendy with the $10 super chat says, my godson was moved to Arizona after his best friend was stabbed with a screwdriver in the cafeteria. At 14, killing somebody over a girl. Wow.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Wendy.
Yeah, so sorry to hear that, Wendy.
I'm sorry.
My goodness. Speaking of that, well, before we move on, I do want to get you all on this. Nicole, what is your thoughts on that exchange?
You know, she's known for weirdo hot takes. You know, I really do think that most of her employers have lost faith in her ability to kind of connect with the American people under any circumstances. But to sit there and she was kind of fangirling this murderer.
Yes.
Kelly was talking about people do, you know, most people wait till they're locked up though. Most of these women wait until they're locked up and then they're desperately in love with them and they make the trips back and forth to jail. But she sounds like she's ready to hop his bones at any minute. It is absolutely disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. There's no way around that.
Yeah. Is this a mental illness, Tyrone?
You know, I'm resistant to put that tag on it. I think what Taylor Lorenz represents is a decadent, rich liberal, okay, who doesn't really reside in the real world. She closed that whole thing out by saying, yeah, you know, we need to see these institutions torn down. If the institutions were torn down, Taylor Lorenz would be literal food, okay? This is someone who, like, she got a lot of, you know, hot takes in the faculty lounge or, you know, sitting in the safety of some park surrounded by her staff. But this is the last woman in the world that wants to see institutions torn down. It's just supreme decadence. She's a wealthy woman, and from what I understand, she comes from a wealthy family too. So she can make all of these pronouncements because they don't impact her.
Exactly.
All right. She doesn't reside in the real world.
Yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
Well, we do. And part of the real world that we are seeing is this uptick in youth violence. We have been covering the Austin Metcalf stabbing by allegedly by Karmelo Anthony. Well, he did do it. So I guess we're wondering if it's going to be, you know, classified as a murder. But new news out today. So the Texas teen accused of fatally stabbing the high schooler at a track meet has been released out on bond. His bond was reduced from $1 million to $250,000, and he has been granted house arrest. A judge ruled this afternoon. This is clip 12. Take a look.
We're up, we're up, we're up, we're up.
Why were you armed? Karmelo, why were you armed at school? Explain your self-defense. How is this self-defense?
Excuse me.
Karmelo, you can say.
All right, there he was. And I mean, my goodness. We've been reading and we've been reporting on this heinous crime, this tragic incident for weeks now. But seeing him, he's just a little boy. He's a boy. I mean, I can't imagine what his family is going through, of course, the victim's family is going through. Again, we have been talking about this for weeks now. Talking about how our prayers are with the Metcalf family for losing a twin son. But even this, I mean, the whole thing is tragic, Nicole, is it not?
Yeah, it's tragic all the way around. You know, one of the things that I think kind of weighed on the judge and just reading some of the reports was his father's testimony that, you know, his son was a straight A student. His son was the captain of the track team, the football team, you know, butter melted in his mouth and all of that. And so giving him a quote unquote more reasonable bond, what it really showed me is that the prosecution wasn't ready. They didn't ask the father the right questions. This is what I would have said. Why would we want to send him back home to the house where he lived before he committed this murder? Because it's straight up murder. It doesn't matter to me that he was the captain of the track team, the captain of the football team. So was Austin. So was Austin. These were two young men who should have maybe had some bruised knuckles and a black eye and walked away from this event. This is horrific all the way around. And to send him home with an ankle bracelet and a $250,000 bond where he's going to be in harm's way, because there are people who are meaning to do him harm, absolutely meaning to do him harm. Much, much, much love for that Metcalf family. I can't even imagine what that mother is feeling, what his twin is feeling like at this point in time.
Yeah. Shelley, what are your thoughts here? Do you think he should have been let out on house arrest?
Actually, I don't know. I do think that the bail, let me say it this way. I believe that those people that were leading him out, I know every criminal gets the right to a defense, an adequate defense. I get all of that. I understand that. But I don't think those guys are doing him any good. I just think they just come across as snake oil type people. I don't know. Again, he has the right to a defense. I do think that the bail going from $1 million, I think it was $1 million at first, to $250,000, which means he only had to put up $25,000, reasonably to even get out of the jail. I don't know. And I know we've been talking about this. We say for weeks. Actually, it hasn't even been 2 weeks yet. It's only been 12 days. I mean, when you think about it. So it has not even been a full 2 weeks. I think this happened on April the 2nd. So it's only 12 days later. I don't know. I'm just not having quote unquote good vibes about the people who are defending him. I really think they have some ulterior motives.
What do you mean his defense, or you mean just people in general?
Well, the defense team. The
defense team. Okay. Yeah. What are your thoughts on this, Tyrone?
Well, I'm going to make both sides of the argument upset. As far as the bail is concerned, bail is a guarantee against flight risk. I don't think this guy, he doesn't have the resources. As a kid, he's not going to Mexico. And from the standpoint of most lawyers will tell you that it's easier to prepare a defense if the defendant is outside and able to participate in the defense. But on the other hand, KJ, you said, hell, he's just a boy. That's a boy you wouldn't want to meet on Pennsylvania North at 11 p.m. Okay.
Hell, 11 a.m.
Well, yeah. If he's taking knives to school, okay, and we do know that happened, all right, that's a big red flag. It's a big problem. How many other times had he done that? Is a knife the only weapon he ever carried into the school? And look, I'm sorry, but this is not a mental health issue. This is a lapse in impulse control. Okay, this is immaturity, deadly immaturity. You don't bring weapons to school, and you certainly don't rise to the level of ending a life over what amounts to the average fisticuffs that young men have been having since the dawn of time that are dust-ups and nothing more, okay? A lot of people are trying to raise it to the level of some big civil rights issue. And, he was defending himself. We'll see what a court of law says about it. But we do know that he had a knife in school. And that right there says a lot about the mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's just sad. It's just sad. As Retrieve says, criminals treated like celebrities. How sick. Yeah. Well, this is what it is nowadays. These criminals, like you mentioned, certain crimes, certain cases are elevated to this celebrity status, and it is sick. It's sickening. We have another here. Kung Fu CJ says Tyrone is spot on. Yes, he is.
Yes, he is. Mm-hmm.
All right, so folks, we will continue to follow this case as we have been. If you want to see our reporting and reaction on this, where we go into depth, definitely check out or go on our channel under the videos tab, and you'll see the thumbnail that we really went into this with them on the front of the thumbnail. All right, so moving right along, kind of want to lift spirits a little bit. We've been kind of low over this last couple of topics, and so still talking about kids. And so this is a viral video of this sassy little girl's behavior, and I want you guys in the chat, and then of course the panel, to sound off: is she a nightmare for adults or a dream, to a teacher's room? Take a look. This is clip 14.
You and Jayla in timeout. Well, let me tell you this, Linda. My name ain't Linda. So you sit right there in timeout, little bad little girl. No, let me tell you something. No, don't tell me. If I wasn't here, I would surely take a day off from you and then a day off from these kids. I'm around the classroom. I'm just done with you. I'm done with you too, but you in timeout. Oh, let me tell you something, honey. This is not gonna leave. You're gonna be in timeout? Oh. That's why you in timeout right now. I think so. I think so. Well, when I get up out of town and go to bed, I will be glad to go home and enjoy the rest of my life. And I completely quit school because all of you.
All right, so there she is. Is that cute to you, or does she, have too much mouth? Before we get into this, Kung Fu CJ with the $2 super chat says they say there's a video, but I haven't seen it. Okay,
I heard this one too.
Me too.
Okay.
I heard that today.
All right, so Shelly, what do you think of little Miss Sassy?
Let me tell you something, KJ. Okay. That little girl, first of all, yes, y'all can be married if you want. I don't care. I thought it was hilarious. Okay. I love her little spunk. I think she's going to be one that is not going to be bullied over, it's not going to come easily. Now, she's what, 2 or 3, at least 3. I mean, people are saying, she's disrespectful. She doesn't even know she's disrespectful. Number one, whatever she's saying, she's heard other adults say in her very brief life. And not only that, she still sat in time out. She had the word for the lady, but she still sat there in timeout. So she is aware, if you will, of some limits. I don't have a problem with that. I think this is a matter of her being trained and groomed. I don't want to crush her spirit. No, I don't. She can be trained and groomed, but crushing her spirit, and what the hell are you going to do? Beat it out of her?
All right. We have a super chat here, a couple here, folks. Thank you all so much. Chadwick with the $5 super chat. Chat says, this is absolute trash. This is not cute. And I do believe half of this is parenting. She heard it before. Dad at home would have fixed this problem. All right. So speaking of men,
we don't know that she doesn't have a dad at home. You know why we don't know that? We just had 2 17-year-olds with parents at home, and one of them stabbed the other one to death. So, duh.
Well, good point there, Shelly. Yep. So this is who she's going to turn into, folks. Shelly E. We're talking about a mini Shelly E here. Tyrone, did she go too far?
Oh, I think it was absolutely inappropriate behavior for a child. I can tell you, if any child, when I was growing up, if we had acted like that or even thought about it, if they thought we were thinking about it, we would be coming out of orbit right about now. Okay. Because My parents, grandparents, they believed in children staying in a child's place, not talking to adults as if we were equals. And so I always tell people, my grandfather's been dead for about 35 years and the whole family's still scared of him. So my wife, you know, and she learned how we grew up. She said, "Oh my God, y'all were abused." And my brother said, "Well, we were just abused then. We turned out just fine." Shelly, our spirits aren't crushed. We are just fine. So no, I don't think that was appropriate. And then I also have a big issue with adults airing this type of stuff on social media. And you know, there was a trend where adults were airing their discipline of children on social media. I thought that was disgusting.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tyrone.
So no, I'm not a fan at all.
Nicole, so what's your thoughts?
Listen, she has a very full spirit, and apparently there is somebody lively that lives in her home or close to her that she's parroting. The problem is it's misguided, right? I don't want her to have that much spirit when she's talking to an adult in charge, right? This teacher is in charge. Make no mistakes. You can call her Linda, whatever else you want to call her out on the playground. But when she's talking to her teacher, I need her to be respectful. And we're going to stand on that. But there are lots of places where that little bit of sass can come in handy, and lots of places where she can be redirected. And hopefully she has, because apparently from the chat, people are saying this video is several years old. It was funny, make no mistake. But she could not be a Jones girl. She could not. Not. They'd be popping her every other word. Like, what you say? What you say?
You know what, KJ, didn't you just talk about something, not this particular video, yesterday, about particularly, I guess, Black people. I'm gonna say it here. You didn't say this. I'm gonna say it. Black people, we always gotta go to beating the damn child. That's where we seem to go to, beat it out of them, whatever, and all that stuff. I don't care if y'all agree with me. I don't agree with. I think spanking is appropriate, yes. And I think this little girl, like you said, Nicole, needs some redirection. I mean, what are you gonna do? I'm saying, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna beat her every day? Have her all bruised up in her mouth and her lips every day?
Oh my God, nobody's talking about that.
I'm saying, but what she does need to be guided and trained, and I get that. I'm not disagreeing with that, but this is her. I guess I'm going to say her personality. Personalities don't just come about at 15 and 17. You can see your child's personality when they are very young, even in the womb to some people.
This girl needs to be corrected now. It's no ifs, ands, buts about it.
The teacher was correcting her as best as
No. She did not correct her properly.
The teacher can't do much more than that. The teacher can't do much more than that.
Yes, she can. First of all, she should have stopped her when she started at Linda. She should have stopped her right then and there. That's number one.
If she kept on talking, what she should have done?
Again, you stop her from talking that way. No, you don't talk. It's 1 second.
No, I'm just saying how.
All right. Let me say this.
This is what it is. One second, Tyrone, if I could. What I'm saying is, I'm sure you have it all as well. Little girls like that grow up to be problems.
No,
you don't check it. She's disrespectful. She was very disrespectful. If you do not check that type of behavior, there is some balance. You can be sassy with your little friends and stuff, but when you are talking to adults, there is a way to do it, and that was not it. She should have corrected her.
And all I'm asking you is, what else could the teacher have done?
Well, she should shut that mouth up. How? Don't say another word.
And then what if she does? And what if she kept on, because she was giving it back? What are you going to, that's my point. What would you have done? What else?
Let me offer a suggestion.
Okay.
If you start out with a child the right way, letting them know that there are boundaries, okay? Have you ever seen a horror movie, but you didn't see the monster until the end? And it was a lot less scary than you anticipated? That's how our people parented us. It was a lot of anticipation of, and I swear to you, my grandfather could give us a look and straighten and straighten everything out. Okay. Because in your mind, you were thinking, wow, what might happen here? Okay. And look, I came up in West Baltimore. I'd seen my grandfather, fight guys. Okay. A guy was climbing his tree. He told him to get out. He didn't. He came out the front door, grabbed the guy by the arm and kicked him square up his ass. Okay. And so we're kids watching this like, probably don't want to run afoul of this guy, so it's a lot of anticipation. Okay. Again, never putting children on your level and making them equals. Okay. So yeah, sure. You just stay in the kid's place. We can have fun. We had an awesome childhood.
Yeah, we did too. Yeah.
But we did not at any point believe that we were going to do things and there wouldn't be consequences to those actions. They made us understand that early.
And these children know who to do that to. You have these parents out here and these teachers and these administrators who go back and forth with these children like that. They think everything is funny. They're weak-minded. They're weak when they speak to the children. And so these children walk right over them. You got some of them that want to be equals with the child and stuff like that. Then the same child will go into another classroom or go with another auntie or another person, and they're angels. They're sweet as pie because they know that this person has set a standard as the way they act, the way they talk, the way they present themselves to these children or to the child, where they know I cannot, mess with Miss Nicole. I better not do this with Mr. Tyrone. This is not the way. I got to go back to so-and-so's classroom or Aunt Shelley and do my little talk and make her laugh. This Miss KJ Aunt KJ don't like this. She don't think it's funny. So I can't do this with Aunt KJ.
What's interesting is, had that teacher, now, maybe there were other things to teach. Number one, again, I'm going to stick to, she's about 3 years old. She does have time to be trained and directed and things like that. That's number one. Sure. But I bet you in today's age, like the teachers, like you said, Tyrone, we all had the teachers and the adults, like you said, we can have fun. But I bet you, had that teacher, I'm going to say, been much sterner, all the adults would have been saying, she's too hard on that child. I could just imagine in today's climate, because we have a lot of people who want to bubble wrap children and their children do no wrong. And, and the teachers are always wrong or the adults are always wrong. So I bet you had that teacher taking that kind of stance, we would have had, I would say 8 out of 10 people, 8 of them mothers and 2 of them fathers saying, you don't do my child like that. I could just hear it both ways.
But I think they also done this before with this teacher, because the teacher pulled the cell phone out and started recording it for her. So this is probably not a one-off with them. But what I really do hope is that somebody in her life, and she probably does have a mother. This might be learned behavior from her auntie or an older cousin or anything, who kind of tightened her up, was like, okay, so you can do that with your little friends, but when you're in school, you need to be about your business. You need to be about your business.
Right. And speaking of sassy females, Houston, we have a problem. And it's not a rocket malfunction. It's identity politics and zero gravity fused with the rot of celebrity culture. So we're talking, of course, by NASA's latest launch today with a bunch of celebrity women. So it isn't just about science anymore. It's about optics, headlines, and Instagram-ready astronauts. The space program used to represent the pinnacle of human achievement. Now it's looking more like a red carpet for elite-approved representatives of diversity. This, again, of course, was Katy Perry, Gayle King, Jeff Bezos' wife, and some other women who were taking on some celebrity space venture today. This is clip 15 of Katy Perry talking about it after they landed.
It is the highest high, and it is surrender to the unknown, trust, and this whole journey is not just about going to space. It's the training, it's the team, it's the whole thing. I couldn't recommend this experience more. This is like up there with all the, different tools that I've learned in my life, from meditation to the Hoffman process. This is up there because what you're doing is you're like really finding the love for yourself, because you got to trust in yourself on this journey. And then you're feeling the love when you come down, for sure. And you're feeling that strength. So I feel really connected to that strong, divine feminine right now.
By the way, you're such a badass. I love that the month of April, you're like, I'm going to space and I'm launching my tour.
Wow. Connect strength, love. I've never seen a woman so satisfied with 11 minutes.
Yes.
So, watch them before they go. before we talk about this. This is clip 8. Them getting ready to go for the launch.
And here they come. Here we go. Loading into the capsule.
And the significance here of the bell, and I should note before I have you that each crew names themselves. They have named themselves the 6 taking up space, as each one is ringing a bell. And the significance of that is what, Ariane?
This is one of our traditions. All astronauts throughout history in various programs have had their traditions. For us, we always want our astronauts to ring.
All right.
Insanity.
Tyrone, what was this? What was this?
First of all, Valentina Tereshkova. Okay. Shout out to her.
The first lady.
The first woman in space. And she didn't stay up there for 11 minutes. She orbited the Earth 48 times in 1963. Okay. Mae Jemison on screen now is one of my heroes. All right. Went up into outer space in the 80s, I believe, and did real science. Okay. Tried to advance the human condition. It wasn't about Mae Jemison when she went up there. It wasn't about Tereshkova. It was about humanity, okay, as a whole. This is nothing but a big-time vanity project for Bezos. The woman that was speaking is talking about, I recommend it. She recommends it, okay? So to the viewers of Pop and Politics, if you want to drop an $11 million super chat, then since Katy Perry, recommends it, we can get to enjoy it, okay? His whole thing, Bezos's Blue Origin, is a joke. It should never be mentioned in the same sentence with SpaceX, who's up there. They just came off of this mission where they orbited the poles, okay, which is significant because you get to see more of the planet. All right. First time a private space company has done that with a manned space flight. He just finished rescuing the astronauts from the space station. Okay. So SpaceX is doing real work in space. This guy just owns an amusement park. Okay. That's all this is. And do you have the clip of them? Like, Neil Armstrong goes up there and one small step from it, and they get up there, and it's like, what? We're devolving, okay, as we speak. All right.
But they made this, but media and all of the hoopla about it, they made this much more bigger than Elon rescuing the astronauts.
Exactly.
Exactly. And look, let me just say this. These women were just passengers. Just like when you get on a roller coaster, you have no control over what's going on, okay? This thing was fully automated. It just went straight up.
It came right on back.
It fell straight back out. And, parachutes deployed. All right, ride's over. Go get yourself some funnel cake. That's basically what this was.
Well, no, it had to be more. We have people were crying. This is clip 5.
Critical milestone of this whole ascent. Oprah watching her best friend go to space.
and not to monopolize, put Eduardo's comment up there. He's right.
Yeah.
They didn't didn't do some Star Trek stuff. They just went up very high,
Exactly.
Yeah, he says, and they're not really going to outer space. They're on the last cryosphere, fear of the Earth. I thought being an astronaut, being a real space outside the Earth's gravity. No, you don't understand, Eduardo. They've got vaginas and long hair. They're all made up with makeup. They're celebrities. This is like really big.
They went through grueling training for 2 days. They figured out how to get inside the capsule and how to get out of it, how to put on their seatbelts and take their seatbelts off, and when to hit their marks when the cameras turned on. Right.
This is what really real women do. This is an achievement right here. And I want to get your thoughts on this next take, Nicole. This is the broadcasters talking about it, and a real feminist correcting this reporter. This is clip 7.
So explain to our audience why even a trip like this one, all the trips that we take into space benefit mankind.
So it benefits humankind, and I'm going to keep correcting the mankind and the man-made and the man missions, because this is exactly what this mission is about, is expanding the perspective of who does space.
Was the correction needed, Nicole?
You know what's so funny? She probably just go back home and make some man-witch for her husband, right? Look. These women have lost their damn minds. When you talk about the flattening of our culture, one of the greatest things that you can see is they started with the little boys and told the little boys they had to sit still like little girls. Boys don't learn that way, right? So then they got in trouble in school. And now that they're grown, you see these women who are saying, well, no, you can't say mankind because we're women and we're better than you. So now it's womankind or humankind. It doesn't include you. It's just us, right? All of this pro-girl, pro-woman foolishness, it's absolute foolishness, especially when it comes to the space program. We've had some tremendous women who are actual scientists, like Tyrone pointed out, who went into space and did their thing, did what they needed to do. This is not that moment. This is not the moment for tears. You know, Oprah looked like Selena Gomez crying over the deported Mexicans. Girl, shut up. She'll be back in 6 minutes. It took longer to get into the damn thing than the flight was, right? And then they're ringing the bell like they're cancer survivors. Really? Is that what we're doing now, Oprah? Because had they put 6 MAGA women up there and flew us to space, they would have not had any TV coverage. And they probably wouldn't have let us land. We'd probably have to continue to orbit around for a while. This is absolute Democrats not being serious. These are liberals not being serious at all.
Yeah. I mean, Shelley, was this all manufactured?
And damn sure it was. Let me tell you what it was. It was a compilation of, you said 11 minutes. It was like they were riding for 11 minutes on the blue balls of Bezos, and then they exploded into this release, this orgasmic release. And when they were coming down, they were so giddy and happy, and it just felt so good. And that's all they got. Like you said, 11 minutes, and Bezos got his nuts busted by some fem nuts who were riding his blue balls. That's exactly what they did. That's all they did. It was embarrassing. Totally embarrassing. Then they had those 2 guys up there. I think they were astronauts, right? Those 2 guys that came. They wasted all their damn time. They didn't go to all of that school and training to take some 6 damn women on a space party ride, with having pedicures and manicures and all giddy. Like they going to some damn party and they all getting together in the party van. This was fem nuts. That's what I'm calling them. Fem nuts and blue balls that just exploded into space. And they didn't go any damn where.
Those guys were like the equivalent of being trained to fly an F-22, and then they give you a Greyhound bus to drive.
Exactly. Wait, filled with bums on the back, right? That's what it is.
Yes.
Yeah. You all are exactly right. You all are exactly right. And they need everything busted in regards to this. Somebody posted that Megyn Kelly really went in on them today. I didn't see it yet.
He did. She laid into them.
But this is
got his balls busted. He did.
Yeah, this is actually it's embarrassing for women. It takes us back. And as you said, Nicole, we are actually devolving. We are devolving into just nothing innovative. We're not coming off intelligent. Women are now sex objects, and they've kind of twisted it to make it seem like that is the power when it's really not. And now you have these women get all dolled up with all their plastic surgery and their makeup and their hair weaves and all this type of stuff to just go for a ride. I mean, and the way the media, played this thing up makes them look even sillier. It really made them look silly.
Yeah.
So
a bunch of elitists taking this ride to make it look like you said, they're not doing anything. This reminded me, Tyrone, you mentioned amusement park. I looked it up. I think the tallest ride at one of the amusement parks is called the Falcons something. I forget what it's called. The Falcons Flight. You spend more time getting ready for the Falcons flight than they did going up in this damn capsule.
Wait, Allie hit it hard in the chat, and she's got a point. It was shaped like a phallus.
Yeah, Tyrone mentioned that.
In that, right?
Yeah. Well, these celebrities in Hollywood, if they could sleep in a dick, they would. So if they were able to go up in space in one, they had to get there. And it's just ridiculous. It really is.
But you know what? We're approaching this the wrong way. I think that we should have, as Wendy points out, we should have another mission, and it should be The View. But we got to go further. We got to actually, I nominate the ladies on The View to explore the Andromeda galaxy. We will see you in 50,000 years, and you guys tell us all about it.
Yeah. I just wish for one moment fantasy would become reality and somebody could click their fingers, snap their fingers, and these dumb leftists would disappear. I mean, they are really bringing us down. The country, you're bringing down women, and and the crazy thing about all of this is they're going to all go home in their mansions. So it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
These celebrities, they always need more accolades. They always need more attention and more fanfare for whatever it is. They want it all the time. They are such narcissists, most of them. They don't know how to just act or whatever they do their skill, do their craft, and then go home and enjoy your mansion or whatever you want to call it, your humankind place or whatever. That's a sick. That was embarrassing.
Do you have that, KJ? The screaming, like they were like. High school screaming.
Let me see. I can find
when they were in the capsule.
Let me see here. Production may have it too.
Just imagine that a bunch of weirdo leftist chicks riding a dick to space. That's funny.
You're in outer space, and all you can come up.
Did they show them screaming or just heard it?
Here, I got one.
I have a little,
that's not.
I'm putting it in now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were in the capsule, and instead of looking down on the earth and having something philosophical to say, or something religious, it was just like they were at a sorority party or something, the girls' night, out, sleepover. And I'm like, this proves you guys don't need to be up there. Even William Shatner, when he went up, he came back and he said, this was very spiritual. He had some profound things to say about the experience. Okay.
Oh, here it is. Okay, let's see.
Guide parachutes. There we go. The drogue parachutes.
Just free falling right there until those drogues came out.
And then next will be the main parachutes that get pulled out.
Hear that screaming inside the capsule?
It's a very soft landing despite the sporty perception. There it is.
Oh, yeah, very soft.
What a bunch of idiots.
I told them. I bet what's the name? Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore. I just looked. I bet they are. They should probably be. They should probably be embarrassed too.
They should be very embarrassed. I mean, they literally flew up in some little dick and can't. When it starts to pound, they start screaming.
There you
go. They can't take a pounding. It hits the ground and
can't go to Pound Town.
And then the explosion happens in 11 minutes.
And I'm glad the show's almost over because Trey's Chocolate City says, he raises a good point. That's why Oprah was crying, because she had to watch Gayle go up in this big old,
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Who you on the phone with, Gayle? Oh, it's just Jeff. Jeff, I'll call you back.
That was pathetic. That was just so fun. She's crying.
Well,
no, because she's upset. They're not going to let Selena Gomez win them tears. They're not going to let her have that.
Right? Yeah, she has to have a moment. She has to be the main attraction as usual. But we'll continue to follow this story. We got to move on here, and I want to move on to something that's actually mainstream. And we're talking about science, and that's AI. And so AI art has really taken off recently. And so I want to get you all's opinion. This will be probably the final topic of the night. Is this AI art innovative or repulsive? Take a look. This is clip 11.
We should note, again, and you and I have said this in the air many times, there is no evidence that Joe Biden was, involved in any wrongdoing.
Of course, want to note that there is no evidence that Joe Biden or Hunter Biden has done anything wrong.
I just want to reiterate.
And let's be clear for the viewers.
There is no evidence Biden did anything wrong.
Governor, you got a second?
Literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
This is why independent media is so important. Thanks to people like you, patriots who love America and stand for truth, we're making a difference. Together, we've turned them off, called them out for their lies and propaganda, and held them accountable for their disdain for God-fearing, freedom-loving Americans like us. But we can't stop here. It's time to take action with our dollars. Let's make 2025 the year we double down on our commitment to values-driven choices. Vote with your dollars. Support Made in America. Back companies that honor our families, faith, and country. We found an exciting way to make this switch, and we want you to join us. Check out www.popandswitch.com and click Yes, I want to make the switch. It's that easy. It's time to walk away from corporations like BlackRock and Vanguard that undermine our principles. Let's invest in America. Let's support businesses that share our love for this country. You don't have to take on everything at once, but you can start here. Join us in making this one small yet powerful step. Visit www.popandswitch.com. Click the link and schedule a call with our team to learn how you can make the switch. Together, we can create real change.
What's up, guys? This is Giovanni, co-founder of Metro Conservative Media. We are the definitive home for the urban conservative. You think you got what it takes? Go to metroconservativemedia.com and click Join the Movement now.
Kiss me down by the broken tree house. Hey, Grandma. Go back.
Yeah, it's gotten us out of control now, isn't it? That's it. We've officially gone too far. I didn't like the screwed up face one bit. I did not like Gollum and Zuckerberg, and I did not like the Kafka-esque metamorphosis of a granny on an ad machine. That whole thing, that's really, really wigged me up.
Yeah, So what do you guys think? I mean, is this innovative or is it repulsive? I'll start with you, Tyrone, on this.
Does anyone remember back when AI imagery first started and the way it envisioned humans was really bizarre and really dark? A lot of these images are, AI either has no soul or with regard to the imagery, there's something creepy about it. Okay. Now we could go down this rabbit hole. You guys know me when you talk about things like quantum computing. You got where's it accessing this information from? Things like that. When will artificial intelligence become conscious? Has it already? So I think that we're a little beyond our skis here in trying to understand these technologies. And I just think there's something. You ever listen to it? You ever pull up a video and it's an AI voice?
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't rub me the right way. I just click off of it immediately, So we'll see. But yeah, some of this imagery is quite disturbing to say the least.
Yeah. What are your thoughts here, Shelley?
I don't think it's art. I mean, not even in the classical or modern sense, not even in I would say the postmodern sense. This is beyond that. You use the word repulsive. It is. Art generally, or if not generally, always, it has some meaning to it, some purpose. Even abstract art, some of it is beautiful, right? The color, the styles, the expressions, whatever it's trying to express. There's art that you may not understand. You can at least have a discussion about it. Maybe you're on different sides of what it means and all the symbolism. This is none of that. This to me is another level, if you will, another way to dehumanize anybody and anything. And now they're using the computer or AI to do it. This is some, I don't know, sick fantasy, if you will, of AI that has become cognitive to the quote unquote cognitive. No, it is repulsive. There's nothing beautiful about it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts there, Nicole?
Art has a soul, right? It has a certain humanness to it. It may not be your particular cup of tea if you're looking, especially at abstract art. Some people, though, are moved by the colors, like Shelley said. Some people are moved by the movement of the artist in crafting that. But there's a unique humanness to art, very unique. And it speaks to us, even if we don't like it. It speaks to your soul. AI is soulless. It really is soulless. And what they're doing with this is they're trying to normalize a defective, a deformed human prototype. And this is a problem, because remember we talked about our kids being saturated with all this weirdness. This is just another level of that saturation. We have to be very careful what we allow our children to consume in their minds, because Nana breaking out into some kind of gigantic cockroach while she's trying to get an ab workout in, from an adult perspective, we say, oh, that's not my taste. It's gross. I don't like it. But a child, it becomes normal if they see it enough. Yeah. So we have got to put a hard line in the sand. There are many uses for AI. I use AI at work all the time. It helps tremendously. But this, where the human soul is supposed to lead, like in art and in music and all of these things that speak to our hearts, AI does not have the capability of doing that well. It just does not. Falls flat.
Yeah, I think it's almost like, how we are all conservatives in a world that's full of leftists, on the people on the left, wokeness and things like that. But for some reason, we're able to kind of see past this facade of what they try to tell us is one thing. And not a lot of people can do. I'll even say can do that. Some people just are being tricked, but there are other people, I think, that just can't see past the facade of it. I think similarly to AI, it's, I look at it, it's foreign. It's always something that is foreign to me. It looks odd. There's an oddity, even about even things that are not supposed to look odd, there's still oddness in it, foreignness in it is for me. Almost like how I look at like a transgender. You have some of these trans folks out here that have all the best plastic surgery, everything. People think they really are passing. And then I'm still looking at this person and I'm like, something is just off. And so I think the same about AI a lot. And you brought up a good point, Nicole, about the idea of pushing this stuff out to children. Again, it's that idea of foreign and making, blurring the lines of normalcy and then otherness.
Yes.
Yes. And so they're trying to do that. This is like the best blurring of lines that they probably will see is the whole idea of AI, and then trying to create these images and getting children used to the oddity of it. So they
take almost every time they take a human, and I'm talking about a human, just beautiful people, period. And I'm talking about beautiful as far as superficial. I'm just saying as part of humanity, and they debase the humanity of them. They make humans into something else less than, or I don't know, scary, if you will, to be a human. So
they're always that though. There are a lot of them that they try to make beautiful. So you see AI and it's making these beautiful portraits.
No, I'm talking about in this art thing. It's beyond that. Like everything on they had made them deformed, or if not beyond deformed.
Yeah,
it's just soulless. It's absolutely soulless.
You know, for the benefit of the folks, if they want to check it out tomorrow, we got a video on the Soldiers of Finance channel where we're talking about how AI is way ahead of government. Okay, so the genie is out of the bottle on this. And we're going to be doing a lot more content on AI because humanity has never, in our history, we've never faced a competitor like AI. To this point, we've been top of the food chain. But it is a fact that AI, no matter what you think it is or it isn't, it is smarter than the smartest human. That's just a fact. Go ahead.
Elon Musk, he said back in 2014, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. He said, that he believed that we need to have some type of control or regulation over it, he had said. And so he was saying how this is why he's decided to get into the industry, to somehow, when we get to the point where it's uncontrollable, he wants to be one of the ones, or he wants us to have some type of opposition to it.
Yeah, I think we're past that. And if you're looking for regulation on it, just think about this. Do you really think Jasmine Crockett, AOC, Chuck Schumer, and that ilk, you think they are time enough for AI? It ain't no way.
Yeah.
So we're past the point of things becoming very interesting.
Well, that's what he said. He was like, humans would not be able to oppose it. So he was of the mindset we need to also create an additional AI to somehow push back against, I guess, the bad ones or whatever. I don't know, but that's what he was quoted as saying, something along those lines. So we will see. All right, folks, we are at the end of our time tonight. I'm not sure what this is. Let me see here. 1 second.
Oh, it says she's trans.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We were talking about this. Yeah, they have all kinds. Yeah. So
I'm sorry, Katy, real quick. What you just said about having Elon Musk, this came to my mind. It reminds me of the Arnold Schwarzenegger with the movies. The
Terminator.
Terminators.
Oh, right. They
had to have another Terminator had to fight a Terminator.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to have a Terminator had to fight a Terminator because that's the only one who really could destroy it, really.
That's what he was saying. He was like, that would be the only way we could overcome it. And that's why he decided to get involved in it, to learn it and somehow create some opposing AI to, I guess, tackle this one. I don't know. But we have a super chatter here. Jessica with the $10 super chat says, old-fashioned ways, Wild West days, and public embarrassment, bring it back ASAP. Society is rotting for it. I raised my daughter like this, and she has manners and respect for people. I highly advocate for it. Same here, Jessica.
Bring back
Colin with the $10 super chat says, great show, fantastic topics, just the facts. Thank you, Colin. All right. Texas Trina with a $5 super chat.
Thank y'all.
Thank
Says
you.
Tyrone, KJ, Shelly, and Nicole, thank you for continuing to stand for truth. Love you guys. Deport terrorist supporters with their friends. Right. MAGA. You're right on that. Right on that.
Wow. Thank you all.
Yes. Thank you
so much.
all so much. So again, tomorrow, check out the All American Talk Show channel at 6:30 p.m. They're going to have a great show for you guys tomorrow. So please check them out right there on All American Talk. Then on Thursday, folks, I am going to have a dynamic show for you at KJ Christian Conservative. For all my Christians out there, you know it's Holy Week. We have a phenomenal show in store for you. You got to check me out at KJ Christian Conservative. That's the YouTube channel. Thursday night at 9 p.m. We are not going to be on Sunday because it's Easter. Thursday is the night. All my Christians, come on and check us out on at KJ Christian Conservative. All right. And then, of course, Saturday, as I mentioned already, is at Just the Guys podcast, Saturday at 6:30 p.m. A male perspective, a male conservative perspective for you there. So check them out, 6:30 p.m. on the at Just the Guys podcast YouTube channel. All right, folks. So again, that does it for us tonight. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll be back on Wednesday. So we'll be here Wednesday at Pop and Politics. We'll be here for you. So we will see you on Wednesday. Until
Thank you,
next
Kung
time.
Fu.
Yes, Kung Fu. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Kung Fu. We will see you on Wednesday. Count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night.